Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be going through the rules of a variant that I coded and designed, and then I'm going to play a game against a bot in it. So in chess, normally you start in the exact same position as your opponent, with the exact same pieces. But Dynasty chess throws that out the window. You get to choose between 4 armies and are not forced to select the same one as your opponent. Each of them has different pieces and themes, but they are designed to be about equal in strength. They all keep the same basic structure of a king and 8 pawns, and most of them also still have a queen. Starting off with the town army, as you can see, it's just the standard chess pieces. But I needed to give it a name so I could differentiate it from the others. So yes, this is technically a game of dynasty chess, just both players chose the town army. Moving on to a more interesting option, the church army. As you probably noticed, the knights and rooks are swapped out with different pieces. Cathedrals replace the knights. They move like a king and a bishop and are quite strong. Their value is about 5.5 points because they can cover 17 squares, which is a bit more than a rook. They aren't color-bound like a bishop, and they're pretty good at checkmating. To make the church army balanced, since knights are replaced by a stronger piece, I had to replace rooks with a weaker piece. So the church moves exactly like a rook, with the catch being its range is capped at 4 squares. It's worth around 3 points because they can't really control open files. It's a bit uncreative, but I think simpler changes are usually better. Next, we have the animal army, which is great for aggressive and tactical players. Knights remain, but bishops are replaced by elephants, which are a bit like churches. They move like bishops, but their range is capped at 3 squares. It doesn't really change much in the early and mid-game, but towards the end game, its range cap becomes quite crippling, so I think it's worth about 2.5 points. In a lot of games I've played where I was the animal army and my opponent was the town army, I just immediately pinned their knight to a queen or king with my elephant, forcing them to trade a knight for an elephant, which is a bit of a loss. As you can see, elephants aren't the only piece unique to the animal army. Wildebeests replace rooks and are much stronger. They combine the movements of a knight and a camel, another fairy chess piece, meaning they can move both 2x1 and 3x1. Their value is about 6.5 points because they can cover up to 16 squares, which is a bit more than a rook, and they can jump. They are also very good at attacking castled kings and forking pieces, which adds to their utility. Now, last but not least, we have the fortress army. This is probably the most alien of the bunch. The most noticeable change is probably the fact that the queen was replaced by a dragon. The dragon is slightly weaker than the queen, but not by much. It moves like a knight and a bishop, and can jump for knight moves but not for bishop ones. I'd say it's worth around 8 points, maybe slightly less but still strong nonetheless. Next, we have the towers, which replace the bishops. They move diagonally but are capped at 2 squares. However, unlike bishops and elephants, they can jump over pieces, which makes them a little bit stronger than their range alone would suggest. I'd guess their value to be around 2.25 points. I mean, at a certain point it gets a bit convoluted to assign piece values. But moving on, since we have a dragon and towers, which are both weaker than their counterparts, the last piece is gonna have to be much stronger than what it replaces. The fortress is worth around 7 points, combining the movement of a king and a knight. It's good at checkmating, defending your own king, and has unmatched local control. Now that I've covered all of the piece movements, I'll explain some more niche rules. So firstly, you can castle with pieces that replace a rook, such as wildebeests and churches. And secondly, when your pawn reaches the other side, it can promote to any piece that was on the board at the start of the game, except of course kings and pawns.